At the foot of distant, mist-covered mountains lay a forgotten village called Njala. Cradled by the earth and cloaked in fog, Njala was untouched by modern time, a place where stories still walked among the living and shadows whispered the names of the dead. In Njala, water was more than life. It was memory. It was spirit. It was sacred. Children learned early. Rivers were not just rivers, and streams did not flow alone. Every drop carried the voice of something older. But there was one stream, one they did not name without a shiver. It wound through the valley like a silent scar, its waters glistening even under moonlight. They called it Maji Damu, the blood water. The elders said the stream was cursed, not by magic, but by memory. Centuries ago, a war tore through the valley. Spears clashed, blood spilled, and men screamed their last breaths into the soil. No one buried the dead. There was no time. The rain came, the stream rose, and as it carried away the bodies, it carried away the souls too. They say the spirits never left. They wait beneath the surface, beneath the silence. Even now the stream runs clear, so clear you can see your own reflection. But stare long enough, and that reflection might move, even when you don't. The elders say the stream is a threshold, a door between this world and the next. It doesn't rush, it doesn't roar, it only waits, patient, cold, watching, and it calls, especially to the thirsty, especially to the proud. Many claim it's just a tale, a bedtime warning, a way to keep children from wandering. But in Jala, no one drinks from the stream. No one bathes in it. No one even touches it. Animals avoid it. Birds never land near it. And at night, if you listen closely, you might hear it whisper, not in words, but in memories that were never yours. Each generation is told the same words, always by firelight, always in hushed voices. Do not drink from that stream. It is not just water. It is a passage, a vein of the dead. And if you take from it, it will take from you. Some say it's nonsense. Others say it's true. But all agree. No one who drinks from the blood water ever stays the same, and some never return at all. There was a young man in the village of Njala named Tembo. He was known throughout the hills, not just for his courage, but for a pride that grew heavier with each passing season. Timbo walked like the mountains couldn't hold him. He spoke like the sky should listen. While others sat by the fire to hear the elders' stories, he rolled his eyes. They're just tales to keep children afraid, he said once. The dead don't scare me. I want more than stories. I want wisdom, power, something that makes the world notice me. The village watched Timbo grow, strong in body, sharp in word, but blind in spirit. Even the winds seemed to whisper warnings when he passed, but he never listened. Then one day, As the sun began to bleed into the horizon and the drums of dusk echoed through Njala, Timbo found himself face to face with the village sorcerer, an old weathered man whose eyes held centuries of silence. The sorcerer leaned in close. His voice was barely a breath. "That stream you mock, it will give you what you seek," he said, "but it will take you from yourself, and in the end, only your shadow will return." Those words sank deep, deeper than Timbo expected. They haunted his dreams, not with fear, but with hunger, a hunger for greatness, for forbidden answers, for the kind of power no one else dared claim. And so temptation took root, slowly at first, like a creeping vine, then all at once, like wildfire. One night, as the moon hung low and color drained from the world, Timbo rose from his mat. He did not tell anyone. He did not leave a goodbye. He wrapped himself in a dark cloth, his footsteps silent over the cold dirt. In one hand, he carried a carved wooden bowl passed down from his grandfather. In the other, he carried his thirst, a thirst that no river had quenched, a thirst not just for water, but for meaning, for legacy, for power beyond the reach of ordinary men. He walked beyond the village, beyond the drums, beyond the trees that dared not grow too close to the cursed valley. And when he reached the edge of Maji Damu, the blood water, he stopped. The stream shimmered like glass, not a ripple, not a sound. Even the night air seemed to hold its breath. Timbo stood there for a long time. The bowl trembled slightly in his hand. The wind whispered through the grass behind him, but he did not turn. He was alone, or so he thought. Timbo reached the stream. The night had fallen thick, and only the moon, pale and watchful, cast its cold glow across the valley. Majidamu lay before him, quiet and still, its waters shimmering like a blade in the dark. He stood at the edge, breath shallow, heart beating like a drum against his ribs. The stream was beautiful, crystal clear, gentle in its movement, almost welcoming. Timbo crouched, the carved wooden bowl in his hand trembling ever so slightly. He leaned over the edge and saw his reflection, but something was wrong. His face was there, but his eyes were not his own. They were fixed on him, staring not at him, but into him, and the reflection, it smiled, not a friendly smile, not a human smile, a grin, wide and knowing, a smile that didn't belong in the world of the living. Timbo froze. He tried to look away, but the smile held him, anchored him. And before he realized what he was doing, his hands dipped the bowl into the water. He raised it to his lips and drank. The moment the water touched his tongue, the wind stopped. All sound vanished. The leaves stopped rustling. The frogs, the crickets, the night birds, all silenced. It was as if the world had forgotten to breathe. Then A low hum began to rise inside his ears, soft at first, then louder, then deeper. It was not sound, it was presence. He gasped and turned. Was someone behind him? No, the clearing was empty, but the feeling remained. He turned back to the water. It was still flowing, still rippling, but the moonlight on its surface now seemed distorted, like something was swimming just beneath, watching, waiting. Timbo stumbled backward, but the bowl was empty. He had drunk every drop. The next morning, Timbo returned to the village. He looked unchanged, calm, maybe even stronger. People greeted him. He said little. The first day passed. Nothing happened. The second day came. Still all seemed quiet. But on the third night, a child screamed. He had seen Timbo walking past his window. Only his shadow was walking backward. From that night on, the elders watched him. By day, Timbo acted like anyone else. He laughed, he worked, he ate with his neighbors, but at night he would sit alone in the darkness, whispering, not to others, to something. Whispers so low they made the air around him cold. Then the disappearances began. First, a hunter, then a woman who'd gone to fetch water after dusk. And by the end of that week, on a night when even the stars refused to shine, Timbo looked up from the fire, and his eyes, they were no longer brown. They burned red, like embers soaked in blood. The elders gathered. Word had spread like wildfire. The strange signs, the vanishing people, the red-eyed boy who once dared the spirits. And now, Njala's oldest and wisest came together beneath the morning mist, their faces carved with worry and silence. They followed the whispers, faint like echoes in a dream, all the way to the edge of the forbidden stream. And there he was, Timbo, sitting still, knees pulled to his chest like a frightened child. His eyes were wide open but unseeing. His hands, pale, trembling, rested in his lap, and from the corners of his lips, water, but not the crystal clarity of Maji Damu. This was thick, dark, almost like oil. It oozed slowly down his chin, pooling in the dirt like ink from a broken pen. The oldest elder stepped forward. Timbo, he said softly, as if not to scare him. What did you seek? Timbo blinked once, slowly. Then his lips parted and a whisper escaped. So thin, so fragile, it nearly vanished with the wind. I just, I just wanted to quench my thirst. And that was the last thing Timbo ever said. His voice, once loud, once proud, faded into the mist. He never spoke again, but the stream did. That very night, long after the village had gone quiet, long after the fires had burned low, the stream began to whisper, not in words, not in any language known to T'Challa, but in something deeper, something that clawed at the spine. Villagers reported hearing voices carried on the water,
murmurs that rose and fell with the current. Some said they heard Timbo's voice among them. Others said it was older voices, angry ones, lonely ones. Now, every year, on the same night Timbo drank, villagers leave offerings near the stream. They do not go close, they do not speak its name, but they listen because the stream remembers, and Timbo is still there, not body, but in the whisper of the water, in the silence between the wits, in the price that is always waiting to be paid.
Years passed, seasons came and went. Children were born, and the old were buried beneath the whispering trees of Njala. But Timbo never returned. His name became a hush on the villagers' lips, a warning told in low voices by the fire. But though his body was gone, his presence never truly left, because the legend lives on. Every year, on the same night Timbo vanished, something stirs by the stream. The villagers say that if you listen closely, truly listen, you'll hear them, whispers, faint but clear, voices dancing just above the water, as if the stream remembers every soul it has claimed. The water still flows, crystal clear, almost glowing under the moonlight. But if you lean too close, you won't see your reflection. You'll see something else, something that watches you and waits. They say that if someone is thirsty, not just for water, but for power or purpose or glory, the stream will know. It always knows, and it will call to you with the sweetness of a promise, with the silence of a trap, because Maji Damu is not just water, it is a door, and once opened, it does not close. You may walk away thinking you are unchanged. You may even smile, just like Timbo did. But in time, you'll hear them too. They're still there, the spirits, watching from beneath the surface, waiting in the current, but not to quench your thirst. No, they wait to pour their silence into you, to fill you with the weight of everything they cannot say. And if one day you find yourself by the stream and it looks peaceful and you are very, very thirsty, remember this: the dead do not forget, and the water is always waiting